to another Firearm Freedom YouTube live stream. As always, guys, let me know if you can hear me. Let me know if the audio is good, lighting looks good, everything like that. I never really know until the first few people get in. Just when you think the audio has been good, all of a sudden, I don't know, it's randomly bad. So you guys know the deal. Let me know when you come in. Man, number 30, the 30th live stream here on the Firearm Freedom YouTube channel. Wild to think that we have been doing this for over 30 weeks now on the Firearm Freedom channel. Just incredible. I'm going to hope, because we're talking, as you've already seen with the title, about looming gun control here in 2021. I'm going to hope that YouTube does not shut down this live stream, but you never know. They might shut it down, they might not. It all depends on how whoever is watching this at YouTube feels today. For those of you that have not seen a previous live stream, or for those of you that have not seen a live stream that has gone down, I generally start it right back up, but you will have to go back to my channel and find the live stream over there, and then afterwards I'll embed the link underneath this video, so that way you guys can see a part 2. But I'm going to hope that we don't get to that point in today's live stream. I've been trying harder and harder to not say words that might be triggering like an algorithm or something like that. I don't even know if that's the case, or maybe like, you know, maybe I'm just randomly losing internet connection or something like that. But I know YouTube has been on their odd thing lately with my channel. I've been getting some DMs of people getting unsubscribed from the YouTube channel yet again. They've been doing that for, I don't know, a number of years now. Once I got on their radar, that's really about it. So always, especially like if you are not getting notifications for these live streams, or they're not popping up on your screen, make sure you are actually still subscribed, and make sure that you ring the bell. You know, check in even when you're like, you know, oh, you just finished this live stream. Check in and just look on the bottom of the video when you are done, so that way you guys can actually make sure that it's still good and everything like that. I believe audio is good. You know the deal by now. If it's not, let me know. So I'm going to assume that it is good. If you are looking for ways to support the Firearm Freedom YouTube channel, looking for ways to possibly donate or just help the channel grow, all of that support is seriously appreciated. YouTube does stupid stuff all the time, so anything that you guys do or are willing to do with the links down in the description really does help me out. Those links will bring you to the Firearm Freedom Subscribe Star account. You guys know the deal by now on the Subscribe Star account. It does not really have a lot of extra content, but with that being said, it allows you a way to even donate as little as $1 a month to the channel. So if you are looking for a way to support me, and you're not looking for extra content, it's just like, hey, I don't have time to watch these live streams or donate or whatever, you know, but how can I still give some money to the channel? The Subscribe Star is the way to do that. If you are not looking to go the Subscribe Star way, then you can go to the Firearm Freedom merchandise store, and the merchandise store definitely has some awesome shirts like the one that I'm wearing right now, and it also has hoodies, stickers, different things like that at a wide variety of different price points, and anything you purchase from there really does help support the channel, so I do appreciate that. And if you're not looking to donate to the channel in any way, then you can just simply watch these videos. Oh, Sam, no problem, buddy. No problem at all. So by watching these videos, like, you know, a lot of people say, hey, watch the videos, subscribe, whatever. The reason why you watching the videos actually helps is because I have roughly 25,000 subscribers. So we're right at like 24,700, I think. So we're right at 25,000. Out of those almost 25,000 people that hit subscribe, meaning I post a video and that video, according to YouTube's policies, should be up and open and on the feed of almost 25,000 people. Yet, most of my videos are dead in the water at 300 to 500 views. That could mean one of two things. That could mean that roughly 24,200 of you are really not digging the videos, and you're like, I don't know why I ever subscribed to this dude. I'm just going to never click on his content ever again. Or YouTube is maybe shielding the content and it is not going out to all of the people that subscribe. So by you watching these videos, watching these live streams, it really does tweak that algorithm, because if they are not shielding the content, or even if they are shielding the content and you take the time to go to my channel, watch the video, watch it for a duration or whatever, that helps kind of like defeat the algorithms. Furthermore, YouTube algorithms really like when you share videos around, hit the like button, and actually interact. So even if you post a comment down below, hey, great video, I will always get back to you, number one, and number two, that really does actually help the channel grow overall. So a little bit of a side note, and I did also want to let a couple more people get in before we start talking about our topic. As always with these YouTube live streams, it is an open Q&A format. So if you guys have questions about what we're talking about, throw them down in the live chat, and that is what is so awesome about YouTube live streams. You guys can interact with me, have conversations with me the moment that we're going live, and if you disagree with something that I'm saying, which is, totally welcome, you can put your disagreement or agreement down in the live chat comment section. I'm gonna try to brighten up a little bit this live stream topic, just because it is the 30th live stream, kind of a big deal, and of course, just the timing of this live stream put it in a time that is not too great with the gun industry and with everything like that. And over the past week, we have had the introduction and the passing of the House, through the House, I should say, a couple of different gun control bills. We have had the introduction. E-Rock, what's up, man? We have had the introduction of a new assault weapons ban, or I should say a new/old assault weapons ban by good old Dianne Feinstein. We have had the introduction of numerous other bills that are going to start slowly making their way through the legislative process. It is troubling just because of obvious reasons what the potential laws and the effects would be on the public. I'm going to try to not really dive into what each one of these laws are. I might skim over them a little bit. I think you guys have probably already seen like 15 YouTube videos flooded your subscriber screen, your home screen on YouTube, of a bunch of people. Maybe some are lawyers, maybe some act like lawyers, maybe some are just giving their opinion on what is in each and every one of the laws. I'm not going to do that because I'm sure many of you have already seen that by now. I think a lot of folks as well will do just that, or give their opinion on stuff like that to get views and subscribers and everything like that, because, when everyone in the industry is talking about one thing, like Looming gun control or whatever else, or even what this live stream is about, generally people piggyback off and try to get the clicks and the views from video titles and what they're talking about. So I would advise all of you, as per usual, to look into this stuff for yourself. I mean, don't trust a a YouTuber like myself out there on the internet to give you your information. You should read through these potential laws. You should read through all the changes that they might impact on everything. You can go to the congress.gov or whatever .gov website where you can actually read through all of the verbiage of these potential laws. Brian, yeah, I had to get it cut just on the sides. I don't know. I'm still, keeping it a little bit longer on the top than usual, I guess. But it's not my normal like straight up bald on the top. But it was getting a little bit long on the sides and back, and it's getting a little bit hotter out here in Pennsylvania, so it is what it is. It will grow back, hopefully. So yeah, we had two gun control bills pass the House. We have a lot of states coming forward and trying to declare Second Amendment sanctuary states to any potential federal gun control laws that get passed. We even have individual counties in certain states declaring themselves Second Amendment sanctuary counties or whatever else. And that is interesting. Of course, Dianne Feinstein, for like probably like the fourth time, has introduced another assault weapons ban. On the new assault weapons ban, it is pretty much the exact same thing that you once saw in 1994 with her assault weapons ban as well. That passed through and luckily only went for 10 years. There was a sunset period, so if the bill could not show that it was actually doing something to stop issues that the law was supposed to address, it would stop. It would sunset in 2004, 10 years later, and it did. It did not prove that gun control. John, I appreciate it, my friend. Yeah, it did not prove that any gun control would actually work. I guess I could address, first of all, like the sanctuary states. What does that mean moving forward, and where do I think that's going to go? So it's super awesome to see states trying to do something legislatively to protect the citizens within the state, mainly sanctuary states, right? The sanctuaries against any federal gun control. Historically, how has this worked? Not too great, I'll be honest with you. So with Second Amendment sanctuary states, you had a lot of states throughout our course of history actually being sanctuary states against things like suppressors. So you had, don't quote me on this, but I believe it was Kentucky that was a sanctuary state for suppressors. So suppressors in the state of Kentucky did not fall under any sort of federal legislation. The state passed a law that basically protected citizens that bought suppressors within the state of Kentucky, not needing the $200 tax stamp or any NFA registration or anything like that. You could just simply buy a suppressor and walk out with it. You could make your own suppressor in Kentucky, and there were also suppressor manufacturers that were opening up and making suppressors in Kentucky. Surprisingly, who would have thought there was no massive crime surge with suppressors when that happened, even a little bit. So I think you can see immediately there the fallacies of the NFA, but that's a whole other talk and a whole other live stream for a different day. How did the federal government react to that? It was fine for a few years, but ultimately, unlike, things like marijuana in certain states being legal for recreational medical use or whatever, even though it's still banned federally and the feds don't really do anything about that, when it came to suppressors, that was an absolute no-go. So when they started to do that, when that started to grow, the ATF and quite a few federal agents raided the manufacturing spots that Kentucky suppressors were being made. They raided for the purchasing receipts. They found who purchased them. They arrested who purchased them. And anybody that was had with a suppressor that they manufactured and did not go through the NFA process, they were prosecuted to the full extent of NFA law. They were arrested. They were taken to jail. And those people are probably in prison. What happened from that? Was there an uprising? Were people frustrated? Did people go up in arms and fight for our, quote, brothers and sisters in the state of Kentucky that got arrested for unconstitutional, ridiculous laws? No, not at all. Unfortunately. So nothing happened. And, of course, Kentucky did not really follow suit as much, to my knowledge, with NFA sanctuary. Now, I could be totally wrong on that. I don't live in Kentucky. Many of you guys watching right now might be from Kentucky. A lot of you guys might know quite a bit more than I do. Maybe they're still making non-NFA suppressors there. Maybe they're not. I have absolutely no idea, but I do know that quite a few people got raided and everything like that. So, the problem with these sanctuary states is it doesn't really hold a lot of backing a lot of the time. What you also have to watch out for is politics, right? So you have a lot of these politicians in a lot of different governments, in state governments, I should say, that really love to get all up in arms when something on the opposing side, so in other words, a Republican and the opposing side, the Democrats, are trying to push gun control. The Republican all of a sudden will come out of the woodworks and do a bunch of different things to try to help his citizens / voters to trust that individual and make sure that, you know, they get voted in the next time. But when push comes to shove, a lot of it is just political BS. A lot of it is, oh yeah, look what I did. Look what I made my state do. But a lot of that really does not do too much to protect its citizens. So I am excited to see many states going the way of sanctuary states against firearms legislation looming. I don't necessarily know what that will look like in the future. I have no idea. Now, if we see in the future that a Second Amendment sanctuary state, all of a sudden feds go in to try to raid somebody's house or a place of business or whatever, and local law enforcement gets involved to stop them from doing that, then I would change my mind entirely. If local law enforcement stood in front of the civilians and protected them from federal agents coming in, that might be a totally different story, but it will be an interesting day to actually see that happen. And until I really see things like that happen, I'm not going to put much backing into the sanctuary states, but it is nice to see. When it comes to gun control, what do I think personally is going to happen? I think that right now, what the anti-gunners are doing is going for all of the low-hanging fruit, things like, quote, universal background checks, closing the gun show loophole, things like red flag laws, things like registries even. All of these things, in my opinion, are low-hanging fruit. I think it's really easy for them to grab all the low-hanging fruit, and a good way to sum up what that low-hanging fruit is pretty much every run-of-the-mill, like, FUD gun owner or a gun owner that's really not about, like, the Second Amendment. They might have one pistol, and that's it, and, you know, they don't really ever want a rifle, especially a semi-automatic rifle. They think that's ridiculous. Any of those people, any of the people that are like, I own guns, but I could be for some more safe, common sense gun control, any of those beliefs I would consider low-hanging fruit. Why is it low-hanging fruit? Because that shows you that part of the gun community will try to give that up as a compromise, as a sacrifice, because they don't think it is that big of a deal. They will give that up in hopes that they can keep what they have for a little bit longer. They can keep their standard capacity 30 round mag for just another 2 years if we give them a federal registry, if we do these things. And that is a disgusting mindset to have, quite frankly. So that's the low-hanging fruit. What is not low-hanging fruit? Not low-hanging fruit, the top of the tree would be the straight up assault weapons ban, right? Everything done, maybe grandfathered, maybe not, Dianne Feinstein style, no sunset, just apocalyptic for the gun community, right? That's kind of the top of the tree. And my guess is the reason why she is introducing that, or the Senate is introducing the assault weapons ban right now, before they've even gotten any of the low-hanging fruit, is because they want to introduce something like so dramatic that is obviously, I mean, maybe it will, but obviously will not pass the House and the Senate. So that way they can be like, oh, okay, we'll withdraw it and make it not as bad. And they're just going to keep doing this. They're going to keep withdrawing it, keep rewriting the wordage a little bit, and then just submit it again, and then draw it back and, write it down some more and submit it again. And they're going to keep doing this for 4+ years, depending on how long a president sits in office that is against firearms. They're not going to stop. They're going to keep on trying to push that through until they get something. Until something is passed through, they're going to do that. And it just shows the difference. And I talked about this quite a bit on the Instagram live stream about a week and a half ago, that coincidentally Instagram deleted before I could upload it. Thank you on that one, Big Tech. But it got sparked from a comment by one of you guys watching on YouTube that's stated my talking point when I said unified we are not. Give me 1 second here, guys. I do apologize. I have a massive white box light, or soft box light, sorry. It's like LED blue light, and I do it because it gives me great lighting generally. But it is so bright. So if you guys see me even eyes watering, looking crazy, that is why. But yeah, I made a comment in one of these YouTube live streams saying unified we are not. And I truly do believe that. And I went much more in depth on Instagram, and I got, to be frank about it, a little bit pissed at the community. And yeah, I think that still reigns true today. With the introduction of these different bills, HR 8, introduction of universal background checks, introduction of basically just getting rid of private party sales completely. I heard many gun owners come into the gun shop that I work at and different things like that and say, well, this isn't that bad. That's not that bad. I can still own what I want. I can still gift guns to my wife. Whatever. It's not too bad. Maybe I'll let them have that. I mean, they already have this defeatist attitude. And I think, quite frankly, that's exactly how we got where we're at today. I think that's how we got to 4473s. I think in the state of Pennsylvania, that's how we got to the Pennsylvania state form for handguns, which is completely unconstitutional by the state. That is how we got to the National Firearms Act. That is how we got to the 1986 Hughes Amendment. It's with already having this defeatist attitude, already having the attitude of, hey, we need to compromise. We need to give up even more to just delay the inevitable. And ever seen anything in regards to firearms law where we have given up even the smallest thing and gotten something back in return. So the people out there that constantly tell me we need to compromise and we need to play the politics game, and play the 5D chess game have still shown me anywhere that when we comply, we get something in return. I'm talking throughout our history. I mean, any point in time where we have given something up and in turn we got something. I have never found a single spot in our history as firearms owners in the United States of America where we have done that successfully. So why, on the edge of some of the most hardcore gun control laws that we have ever seen proposed, on the verge of all that, all of a sudden that will be the way to work it? I think it's also incredible the amount of gun owners that are just like, hey, do you guys have 10-round mags for X, Y, or Z gun? I need to make sure that all my mags are 10 rounds just because, we might have everything passed and I want to be law abiding and I want to have the right mags. I mean, already assuming that it's gonna go. And that's what I mean, guys, when I say unified, we are not. We're not at all. All the 10 million new gun owners, I can tell you probably 9 out of the 10 of those brand new gun owners of 2020 came into the gun shop and already assumed that there was a 10-round mag limit and already assumed there was a registry. Already assumed that they would have to go to some government agency to tell them what gun they just bought. 9 out of 10. No exaggeration. No exaggeration at all. And with those people, I don't know what in the world, if this passed, would make them be like, you know what, all of a sudden, I'm not going to comply with that. So all these people out there that are like, oh, nobody's going to comply with that. Nobody's going to do that. Blah, blah, blah. I mean, I'm not seeing that. I'm seeing a very large portion of the gun-owning world that will absolutely comply with things like a registration. That will absolutely comply with things like magazine restrictions. That will 100% comply with universal background checks. And that's just the reality. So my advice to you guys would be, once again, to find a way to unify the community. That is really our last and only hope from the ridiculous amount of gun control that's just going to start getting pushed, is finding a way for the community to unify as one and think of solutions to the problem. Without any sort of unification, without stopping infighting about what is right and wrong and different belief systems, we will lose. We will lose it all. And that is the reality. We will lose it all. So, for those, everybody watching that's in law enforcement of some type, everybody that's watching that's in any form of government service, you need to ask yourselves what your line is and when you are not, when you're not going to cross that line. For everybody out there that says, oh, no police officer would ever uphold new gun control laws, right? Nobody would ever do that. That's just not what I've seen. I've already seen the opposite of that. And if none of them will uphold new firearms laws, why do they uphold things right now like background checks? Why do they uphold things like the NFA? Why do they uphold all of these other minor state laws? Why, in the state of New York, do the law enforcement officers there enforce 10-round mag laws? Why do they do that? I think ultimately, although a large majority of law enforcement, that especially the ones that are gun owners, would to a new form of gun control be like, oh no, there's no way in hell I'll do that. Maybe a lot of them will quit. Maybe a lot of them will lose their job. But ultimately, you have a refreshing of the force, right? You have a refreshing of the people, out with the old and in with the new. And as these young kids get into forms of law enforcement, as people that have never really been around guns because all of these new laws go through, they start getting a lot easier for them to enforce because they don't know any other way. And a lot of the older law enforcement guys that maybe wouldn't have been about it have long since gone, and that is why we have things like the NFA being enforced. As far as anybody in federal agencies, I'm sorry, but I have yet to find a single spot of agreement with the ATF that I don't view as 100% unconstitutional in every way, shape, and form. So, in my opinion, you have already broken your oath more times than not. That's just me. So, yeah, that's going to be a make it or break it thing. We will see moving forward how that plays out. I have absolutely no idea how it will, but who knows? Yeah. When it comes to how this new proposed gun control, if you go right now to Google and just say gun control, now we're seeing a million headlines coming up left and right, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, local news stations talking about gun control. We now have Biden's face coming up and Feinstein's face coming up, and we're talking gun control. On top of that, everybody just got their tax returns for the most part. Everybody just got the stimulus of inflated money. And what that's going to lead to is bad things when it comes to pricing and availability, like we have talked about so many times before. Pricing and availability is not getting any better, and it's not getting any better anytime soon because of this. I've warned about this in many live streams, and I still get people that are telling me like, "Oh, it's not going to be that bad." That's fine. You can think whatever you want to think. I can tell you that is just flat out wrong. Once the gun controls really starts hitting, the first thing that's going to go, I would guarantee it, is going to be magazines. So we'll see. Let me catch up on some of your comments here. Scott, it's just common sense. Yeah, ain't so common. Right. Brian, if these laws are passed, gun manufacturers need to stop producing firearms for the government. I would agree. The downfall is that a lot of these manufacturers that are making quite literally billions of dollars on the government, I would find it very hard to believe that they're going to give up that billion-dollar contract, sometimes multi-billion-dollar contract. And you have to remember that a lot of the owners of these major firearms manufacturers are by no means pro-gun. They are pro-government gun. They are pro-money from the government for their guns, but they are not pro-gun like we are pro-gun. Thus, the division of the community. We look at a company that is big and high speed and cool guy in the industry, and they make guns, so we immediately assume that they are super pro-gun. The reality of it is that all throughout our history, many major gun manufacturers, Springfield, Colt, Smith & Wesson, EOTech, Surefire, all of these different companies have supported either politicians that are actively pushing gun control, sometimes even Hillary Clinton or Dianne Feinstein, and most of these, along with donating substantial amounts of money to these people, have also backed gun control efforts all throughout our history. So, although it's awesome when a small manufacturer stops manufacturing firearms for law enforcement or military, the main issue is that, sorry guys, I'm just getting over a small tiny little cold, so that is why I'm talking a little bit slow, is because where I'm at in this filming studio, it's super dusty and everything like that, and it's just a little bit hard to talk. So Yeah, when you have these major multi-million dollar companies, they generally do not stop manufacturing these firearms because you're talking about ridiculous amounts of money that they're just not going to give up, and they're not really super pro-gun. You know, they're really not. All right, let me read up on some more comments. I'm like spitting everywhere. Cat, what is up, buddy? Law enforcement are going to be the difference makers. There is no doubt that money will drive those that are blinded by anti-freedom measures. I pray our LEOs can take action. Yeah, I mean, you know, the reality of it is that the laws are just going to keep getting tighter. And I think, as I said before, law enforcement is going to have to draw their line. Many people have a different line. Many people will continue to enforce anything that is passed down the pipeline because it is their job, and I am just doing my job, and I need a paycheck, and I need a pension, I need a retirement, etc., etc. And many of those people will have to give up their job if they don't want to enforce it. For the people that say nobody will enforce it in law enforcement, it is just flat out wrong. Look at states like Maryland, where law enforcement officers are enforcing thousands of red flag law orders every single day. I'm sure many of those officers were the ones saying, I will never enforce unconstitutional gun control laws, yet they're doing it every day in places like Maryland, in places like New York, in places like California. You have them setting up little raid stations in California catching people coming back in for magazines and ammunition and other ridiculous items that should not be restricted in the first place. Why are they doing that? Are those the same people that said I will never enforce gun control? I don't know. But those are all questions that we need to ask. Should I be buying more mags even though I have plenty? I think it's tough to say. I don't want to increase panic buying, but I think whatever amount of magazines you think you have, if you think you have enough, you probably don't have enough. So I would continue to buy some, continue to buy more until you are well off. So take that for what you will. Just bought a new Wyndham. Great choice for sure. Sam, yep, I would agree. Buy a decent amount of mags you can afford at the time. I don't think law enforcement will be the difference maker. It will be the citizens uniting that will be the difference maker. Yeah, Brian, I would agree with that. I would definitely agree with that. I think citizens uniting together as one make a very, very, very big difference to the outcome of laws, right? That's how our country was created, by voting, by doing things as unified one body, right? You see now what a very unified anti-gun side is able to accomplish. All of the things that they're able to do, all of the misinformation they're able to spread, all of these things. I mean, you even have headlines right now that are just completely and totally false, not accurate at all. All of these things, you know, I don't know, man. We will see. Sorry, guys, I'm just catching up on everybody's comments here. The other day, and a couple were devastated that they couldn't buy ammo for their new Glock. I offered to help them out and provide them a couple boxes, which is very legal. They had a problem with this. They didn't want me helping their customers despite them not having ammo on the shelves. You know, it happens for sure all the time. So to me, there are more into their personal business than being unified and pro-gun. Yeah, and that happens quite a bit. Small talking break. thank you for your patience ahead of time in this live stream. Like I said, I just can see the dust floating around, and when you're just getting over a little bit of a cold, man, does it make it difficult to talk. Brian, I think you have a good point. And it happens. The issue, once again, is that you do have a massive amount of people. I don't know. I don't know anymore, guys. Really, I really don't know. I can tell you that almost every single person out there does not see the full picture. I don't know that I see the full picture. I think most people out there are brainwashed through and through. I think most people out there cut everything into Republican and Democrat, which is probably the stupidest thing I've ever seen, considering that almost all gun control in this country has been supported via bipartisan support in either the House, Senate, or by presidency. We have had gun control bills introduced and passed by Republican and Democrat presidents all throughout our history. You are being played a fool by the political process. They want to make you think you have a choice of candidate. They want to make you think you have the choice to decide your freedom. And the reality is you don't. You don't. Everything in this country in regards to freedom is an illusion when you really get down to it. You think you have the freedom of guns, but you really don't. You think that you can just, get whatever you want, and the reality of it is you don't have that ability. Do we have it a lot better than a lot of other countries? Sure, absolutely. I don't disagree with you at all. But the amount of ridiculous red tape proves the illusion of freedom. Say you say you're free with guns, right? You're free with guns, but yet if you were to take your rifle that you just got and shave the barrel down below 16 inches, you would go to federal not good prison, right? So maybe you're not so free. Maybe the illusion of freedom exists. You think you're free to trade openly on an app like Robinhood, right? The stock trading app. But the moment you make some headway, the moment people actually start making some money, the illusion of freedom presents itself, and all of a sudden the app is shut down and it is stopped completely. More laws, more regulations to stop people from being able to openly trade. And that, once again, is the illusion of freedom. We are supposed to have the freedom to just open another platform, open another internet, right? You have big tech companies and news articles saying, hey, just go make your own YouTube. Hey, just go make your own social media, make your own Twitter. All of these little, small, tiny little companies that open up, they're left to do you, right? You have your little breadcrumbs of freedom. You have your semi-automatic only AR-15 with a certain barrel length and a certain thing on the end because, we just want you to have something so you'll shut up. But then when you have an app like Parler, right? When you have an app like Parler that just starts making a little bit more progress than they're supposed to, right? They're starting to break that illusion of freedom, and it almost looks like they have true freedom. It almost looks like they're gaining a lot of views and followers to different accounts and users on the platform. They're actually growing pretty rapidly. They're shut down immediately. Why? Because we have, once again, my friends, the illusion of freedom. That is why it is very hard for me to be optimistic about the future. A lot of people look at this live stream right now and they say, man, this guy's super negative. Why is he so negative? Doesn't he have faith in our system? I believe our system right now is all just an illusion of freedom, quite frankly. I think we've seen that with voting. I think we've seen that with writing letters and emails and different things that probably just go to a BS spam mail folder, realistically. I don't know, man. I really don't know. I think most of you need to wake up, and before you even form an opinion about something, you might want to educate yourself on the entire process, and maybe read a book every now and again, and stop just gaining all of your information off of a social media post or a bullshit news article. Understand that the reality of the world is that whatever news media station that you're listening to, whether it's Fox, a news app, CNN, MSNBC, it is all part of the narrative. They are trying to divide us and make us not unified. They want infighting. They want Republican and Democrat. They want skin color versus skin color, because the more divided that we are as a nation, the more divided we are as a community here in the gun community, the less people can actually achieve or accomplish, and the less free people become, because it makes the elites up top far, far, far easier. It makes them have a far easier time to get whatever it is that they're looking to get done, and done with speed, because we are too busy infighting with each other. You still have people, taking all of this time to trash talk somebody on social media. I talked about this on Instagram before. You still have trolls out there taking all this valuable, precious time to write a comment under somebody's video or image, about the build that they just did or something that they don't agree with. I get it. It's funny. There's trolls. There's always going to be trolls. But with times like these, when we are so divided and we are so not unified, that's just furthering the inevitable, quite frankly. But I warn you once again, that if it gets to the point that the only thing left to do is curl up in your basement or lose your guns in a boating accident or bury them in your backyard, it is far too late, and we have won overall the war. We have lost overall the war, and not just a small battle, but we have lost everything. They, at that point, will have fully divided us into individuals, and they will have made it far easier to deal with non-complying gun owners, whatever way they see fit. Do I think they will be splintering doors anytime soon? No, I do not. But just for the simple fact that that's not feasible. They know that probably that will be the line for most law enforcement and military or National Guardsmen or whatever, will be splintering somebody's doors. I think they're far more smart and intelligent than that, and I think there is a much larger plan going on here, and I think they have a much better idea on how to successfully get this stuff done. For the Firearm Freedom family watching right now, I tell you guys, like I've told you before, and like there's in a lot of literature out there, this stuff happens not by throwing a chain around your neck and dragging you down, but by putting a one link at a time over and over and over again, until we have gotten so used to the weight of small little incremental changes to the chain that before we know it, we are dragged down. And that is what happens. That is what happens historically. That is what happens all over the world. And that is how authoritative powers take place. People don't understand. They think, well, why would anybody let them do that? Well, it's because they're not trying to do this all at once. They do small little incremental changes. It might not be this year. It might not be next year. But 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years from now, maybe. Who the hell knows anymore? But I don't know, guys. We are the 1%. 99% of gun owners don't really think of all the laws that much. They don't care that much, at least from what I've seen. GatCat, I would agree, buddy. Thanks for all the great videos recently. Tough times right now. Hey, Prototype, I really appreciate it, buddy. I am trying as hard as I can to put out videos and content for you guys. A lot of you don't see what happens behind the scenes here at Firearm Freedom, but man, does it get stressful sometimes. Does it get stressful? But I really try to keep producing good content for you. The corrupt wouldn't set up a system where they can lose. Oof, Brian, there you go. That's the mindset that I want you guys to get into. The mindset of understanding what is really going on behind the veil. Too many people have far too much faith in a system that constantly routes them into the bullshit. Uh, yeah, I don't know, man. I feel like I'm rambling all over the place in this live stream. A lot of non-optimistic, a lot of negative thoughts going on in the industry, and it's hard not to have them. I have tried pretty consistently to lift myself up and out of it, and I think what actually helps me quite a bit is actually talking to you guys here on YouTube and just kind of venting it out to a lot of you, and maybe hopefully helping some of you out. If you have not seen the videos that dropped last week on the channel, I uploaded quite a few, and hopefully you guys can get an idea. Neil, no problem at all, buddy. I appreciate you tuning in. Guys, I'm going to end this live stream a little bit early. I think I've said all that I've wanted to say. Hopefully some of it was coherent. Hopefully some of it made sense. I know I was talking a little bit slow. Again, it's just a little bit hard for me to talk in this live stream. Still, like I said, getting over it. If you guys have any other questions about this live stream or anything else on the channel, throw them down below in the comment section. After this live stream ends, I will post a description with links and everything like that you guys can check out. So definitely be sure to check that out. I have content going out daily on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And I also have the link to the Discord server. We are 9 people away in that Discord server from 100 Discord members, which is just crazy to think about. So if you guys want to join that, definitely hit the link down below. Guys, if you have any other questions, let me know. As always, thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for more great videos to come.